Welcome back to This Week in India's Science. I am Subhra Priyadarshini, and in this episode, a climate signal from Earth to Moon during the COVID lockdowns, flood secrets buried in Maharashtra's ancient reservoirs, the shape-shifting protein behind oral cancer's aggression, and the race to save a 450 million year old pre-dinosaur creature from extinction. Let's begin. 5 years ago, the world fell still, skies cleared, factories paused, and for the first time in decades, the Earth radiated less heat. But what if that pause was felt on the Moon? New research from India's Physical Research Laboratory has found that during the peak COVID-19 lockdown months of April and May 2020, the Moon's nighttime surface temperatures dropped by nearly 8 to 10 degrees Celsius.
We all know that COVID-19 global lockdown has reduced atmospheric pollution, and this has led to a measurable decline in terrestrial radiation as well. Our analysis shows that the Moon's night side surface temperature dropped due to this change in Earth's radiation. And this reveals that the Moon is sensitive to even subtle changes in Earth's radiative output.
Physicist K. Durga Prasad at the Physical Research Laboratory in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Earth emits heat to space, and it is known as terrestrial radiation. Some of it reaches the Moon, but during lockdown with less pollution and fewer clouds, that heat was dramatically reduced. Durga Prasad and his colleagues used NASA's Diviner Lunar Radiometer data from 2017 to 2023 to detect a clear dip in lunar temperature only during the strict lockdown. Skeptics remain cautious, pointing to the small effect that Earth's heat might actually have on the Moon. This week, Biplab Das reports for Nature India that this study makes a provocative case that planetary scale change on Earth leaves a trace far beyond. Now, across Maharashtra's Bhima Basin, small reservoirs known as talavs, some built as early as the 16th century, hold memories of ancient climate trauma. A new study led by Atreyi Bhattacharya, a geoscientist at the University of Colorado Boulder, found that these reservoirs recorded deluges tied to El Niño events, when dry spells suddenly gave way to intense rainstorms.
This is the first time we have linked local climate events and associated disasters in India's semi-arid interiors to El Nino southern oscillation ENSO variability, which is very important for Indian summer monsoons.
In the Matwali Talav, a thick layer of coarse sediment from 1988 to 89, which was a strong El Nino year, shows that floodwaters scoured the land, dumped soil, and overwhelmed the reservoir. In some places, sedimentation increased up to 30 times the usual rate. Worse still, modern land use like farming on dry beds and grazing on embankments destabilized the terrain. When the rains came, the land couldn't just cope. The researchers say that there are fewer rainy days now, but the rainfall is more intense. These aging structures were not built for this, they say. Sediment core records are vital tools. The landscape model suggests that rainfall peaks correspond with sediment discharge. While human activity may play a role, rainfall is the main driver in these sites. As India faces increasing climate extremes, these buried stories are warnings from the past and blueprints for resilience. Read the story by Sahana Ghosh on Nature India this week. On to the next story this week. Oral cancer is one of India's deadliest cancers. Now, researchers at the BRIC National Institute of Biomedical Genomics in Kalyani, West Bengal, have uncovered a molecular accomplice behind its resilience. At the center of the discovery is a receptor called TIE2, TIE2, found in surrounding fibroblast cells, not the cancer cells themselves. These fibroblasts, activated by TIE2, reprogram nearby cancer cells into an embryonic like state, which is harder to kill and more prone to spread.
You see, what we have found is that some support cells, which is near to the oral cancer cells, can actually help the tumor grow and spread. These cells send signals that push the cancer cells into a more aggressive, harder to treat form. But the good news is that if we block these signals, we might actually be able to stop the cancers from getting stronger, and therefore this could actually open the door to more targeted treatment for oral cancer patients.
Sandeep Singh from BRIC NIBMG there. Using sequencing and tumor growth assays in mice and zebrafish, the team found that blocking TIE2 in these fibroblasts reversed the cancer's ability to invade. Older than dinosaurs and largely unchanged for 450 million years. The horseshoe crab is one of Earth's most ancient survivors, but now it's disappearing fast from India's eastern coast. Two native species, Tachypleus gigas and Carcinoscorpius rotundicoda, have declined by over 70% in the last 2 decades, says a new report from Fakir Mohan University's Conservation Center.
These creatures have survived asteroid strikes and ice ages, but they may not survive us. We are trying to turn that around with science and local knowledge. The horseshoe crab's blood, it helps make our medicines safe. It might be vaccines, drugs and implants, you name it. Without it, modern healthcare would look very different. So protecting the species is also about safeguarding a lifeline for human health.
Bharat Bhushan Patnaik from the Center for Research and Conservation of Indian Horseshoe Crabs in Balasore, Odisha. These marine arthropods also sustain intertidal food webs, including endangered shorebirds, but pollution, ghost nets, habitat loss, and urban expansion have decimated their breeding grounds. Many traditional nesting sites have disappeared. Rivers now bring wastewater, not nutrients. Surveys by ICER Kolkata's Punya Shlok Bhaduri warn that numbers may be even lower now, especially in Odisha and the Sundarban. To rescue the species, scientists are mapping breeding grounds, launching tagging and rehabilitation efforts, and proposing AI based monitoring tools. They also call for citizen science.
If people along the coast start reporting sightings or rescues, even just sending photos, we can build a real time map of where these crabs are hanging on. Conservation always doesn't need big budgets, it can start with local eyes or local action.
That's it in this week in India's Science. Subscribe, share, and listen to the Nature India podcast on wherever you get your podcasts from. Until next time, this is Subhra Priyadarshini.